Hello, everyone. Welcome to Maundy Thursday, our Holy Week crisis contemplation. And we're glad if you've been able to join us for any portion of this. Today is Maundy Thursday, which is a day that Jesus in his teachings asked us to remember two specific things. One, communion with him, and also the washing of one another's feet. For the last 2 years, I've been doing washing feet at this spot at our holy well. And I've been doing that alone, but I still feel I'm being obedient to what Christ asked us to do. And it's just been such a lovely, reverent time to spend doing what was left for us to do over 2,000 years ago. So here we are. Today we're looking at Barbara Holmes' crisis contemplation, healing the wounded village. And the topic today is communal joy. It seems funny to be talking about joy on Maundy Thursday, which was a day to commemorate the Last Supper. But I think you'll see why I chose this topic here in a little bit. So she writes in her book, Barbara Holmes writes in her book, that in a crisis, our current circumstances require resilience and the steadfast belief that joy is a healing inner event and a spiritual practice. People of color, culture, and communities under siege who remember the ways of the elders have seen it in action. Performance of joy while the wounds are still healing, still being inflicted, is not a display of otherworldly strength. It is an act of faith that God will not give us more than we can bear. Personal and communal joy require authenticity. We have to stop performing the blackness that whiteness created, the stereotype and the secret keeping. We have to sing ourselves sane and dance ourselves free. I love that. We have to sing ourselves sane and dance ourselves free. Each act of public joy is one step closer to that risky leap toward transcendence. Performing joy offers healing from our addictive engagement with domination systems. Hear that again. Performing joy offers healing from our addictive engagement with domination systems. We are not required to fight for our reality. We can just live it. We are being invited to awaken to our true nature as spirit beings, energy sharers, and prophets of potential. The joy spoken of in Holy Scripture is accessible, but also has a certain beyondness to it. The world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away. As we hear from Jesus in John 16, verse 22, so you will have pain now, but I will see you again, and your hearts will rejoice, and no one will take your joy from you. That's an old song. I don't know if any of you know it, but this joy I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this joy I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Again, another song from my childhood. But communal joy is important for us to remember. At one point in the scriptures, it talks about unspeakable joy and full of glory. And that's just a beautiful way to think of the joy that comes from serving God through the power of Jesus Christ. Unspeakable joy that is full of glory. That's 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 8. So Jesus knew his time on earth was short at the time of the Last Supper. There was much left for him to do to prepare the disciples for the crisis that was to come. And it was a lot to cover in a very short amount of time. So he did that by showing them what to do, by breaking bread, sharing the cup, and washing one another's feet, by serving one another. So reverence and service all came in a single lesson, in a single act. That was the Last Supper. When I was a child in our church, it was just a beautiful service to have foot washing and communion. All the men would be in rows of chairs on one side of the sanctuary, and the women would be in rows of chairs on the other side of the sanctuary. And some of us young ones would be running basins of water to those rows to make sure that we kept the water fresh. And some of the women were showing us how to prepare the water and get it out to the people. And then once all the elders had washed, then the young people would then wash one another's feet. And we had twice a year we would gather and do that. It was just a beautiful service. Everyone was arrayed in their whitest white clothes that they could find, men and women alike, all white clothing, all singing together, and washing one another's feet. People would sit in pairs and then kneel down. Jesus girded himself with a towel, so we would have towels long enough to tie around your waist, and you'd tie the towel around your waist and kneel before the basin and the person's feet that you're going to wash. And then once the first person washed feet, then the second person would, after his feet were dried, would gird himself with a towel, himself or herself, and kneel and wash the partner's feet. And the most beautiful thing that would happen at the end of it all would be an embrace that seemed to last for the day. It was a loving, wonderful embrace that you'd have from the person that you just shared this wonderful experience with, this act of humility and service. Just lovely. One of the songs that we used to sing, I used to just love hearing it go round and round, and each time around that we would sing it, it would just become more dear and more precious. I had somebody ask once, why do you sing the same thing over and over again? Because it's just a joy. It almost becomes a mantra to go round and round with the song. And this song was Humble Me. It went like this. Humble me, humble me, Lord, humble me, Lord, to do thy will. Teach me, Lord, teach me, Lord, teach me, Lord, teach me, Lord, to do thy will. Help me, Lord, help me, Lord, help me, Lord, please help me, Lord, to do thy will. It's beautiful. Songs of Zion that I cherish deeply these days, and especially in these times when humility is something that we just don't see a lot of, and it's wonderful to get to practice it, even when it hurts. So when you're thinking of joy, you're thinking of communal joy, try to think of some examples of what communal joy you experience. in the materials prepared for today, I actually listed one or two, and one of mine was just the joy of foot washing service. We would do it Easter and New Year's Eve, which we called Watch Night. So twice a year. That's one of those communal joys, even in a time of crisis. Another communal joy for me is singing in choirs and just singing praises and lifting your voices together as a group, and especially if it's harmonizing, choir or even small group, just raising your voices and allowing yourself to be a songbird for God, which to me is just such a joy, and it carries me over in those times of crises when I'm feeling not so happy. One of those that really does it for me is Quincy Jones's Handel's Messiah, the Soulful Celebration. If that comes on any place where I'm in earshot, I'm instantly stepping into that role of the dancing monk. As you know, I dedicated my life to be a monk in December, and I love that we are a dancing monk order. So just that CD, if you ever get a chance to listen to it, it is just a joy. And the last time I had it on was when I was working on the macrame that's on the meditation deck. Some of you have seen that, but I was just dancing myself all over the all over the place doing those macrame knots. And so check that out. I think you'll enjoy it. So thank you so much for joining me again today. This is going to be our last video. I just wanted you to have a brief glimpse into what I've been up to and what wonderful and great things God's doing in my life. And I hope that I'm spreading that joy to you, no matter what crisis you might be in or have come through, or listening to crises around the world and the suffering of humanity. Find a chance to reflect on communal joy. And again, thank you for joining me. You're always welcome out here at the Farm Ashrama Monastery. I'm still learning to say that. I love you all, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.